I think we are in a situation of a national security crisis that is only going to get bigger. I think the Russians are running a strategic political warfare operation against the United States. I think Katie Tur hit it right on the head. Do you have any pause about what you're doing? And he had no pause whatsoever.
3 years later, Malcolm Nance is still right about Trump and Russia. And Malcolm Nance is also right back here with me to discuss his new book, The Plot to Betray America, How Team Trump Embraced Our Enemies, Compromised Our Security, and How We Can Fix It. Malcolm, I don't know when you had time to write another book. And first of all, you look so young in that clip.
Yeah, who is that good
I feel like you've aged, I think we've all aged about a decade in that 3 years. Let's talk about this. I like the fact that you say Team Trump this time, because we've talked about Donald Trump and the fact that he's been of interest to Russia since the 70s, and the fact that he's a sort of useful idiot for them that in function. But now it's the party, too. It's the Republican Party. They're all seem to be all in together.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, I started writing that book a year ago, and I finished it the week before the Mueller report, after the Barr memo, right? And in fact, I had to add 3 chapters just because of a Joy Reid show. You know, when I said, you know, it's not possible that the Attorney General would commit the greatest scandal in American history by covering up the greatest scandal in American history, and then he did it. Team Trump is a wide-ranging organization of dirty tricksters, cons, and frauds. And you know what's funny? One of them just got convicted yesterday. And I mean, they are the chips for these guys are falling everywhere. But the danger here is they have really compromised U.S. national security. We are in grave danger in some instances. The whole intercepted phone call thing, you know, from Ukraine is a good example of that. But working with Saudi Arabia, Michael Flynn, to get them Russian nuclear reactors, which the Trump administration has already gone ahead and approved, working with Turkey to extradite U.S. citizens and then allowing them to buy Russian weapon systems so long as Trump Tower Istanbul stays in. I mean, the whole thing is a disaster, and it will damage us for decades to come.
You write in the book about the Republicans. By the time Trump swore an oath to office, the oath of office in January 2017 and gave his inaugural carnage speech, his inaugural carnage speech, his followers had come to believe that their loyalty to his love of Russia was purely patriotic, and their devotion to him superseded any loyalty to the Constitution of the United States. Such a transformation from a rabidly anti-Russian party to docile admirers in less than 4 years was Putin's dream come true. I mean, even the javelins that they bragged Trump gave to Ukraine, the condition on them was that they couldn't use them against Russia.
Right. You like that? What has happened to the Republican Party is no less than a complete co-option. You know, I've written about this before in one of my other books. I refer to this as an American fifth column now, to where people who were formerly against the Soviet Union, after the year 2000, when Russia was going through its own counterterrorism paroxysm there after the Beslan massacres, conservatives started admiring Vladimir Putin and the way that he would take on, you know, Islam. And then over 10 years, with some Russian assistance, they were actually co-opting evangelicals, we saw them actually send agents into the National Rifle Association, the alt-right. We found that some of their biggest leaders, David Duke, Richard Spencer, had homes in Moscow and were meeting over there with these fascist groups. These groups view Moscow as a natural ally, as a center of white Christianity, in their view, a war against immigration and Islam. And that's why they all now love Russia.
Is it also money? Because, you know, we know that the Russian mafia is spreading a lot of money around.
Sure. Of course, there is a pot of money out there from the Russian oligarchy that I think was introduced to Donald Trump in 2014. I've said this many times, at the Miss Universe pageant, when he had a secret meeting at the Nobu restaurant with the 12 richest oligarchs in Russia. When he came out of that meeting, all he talked about was Trump Tower 2.0 and Moscow's a go. And then from that minute on, he has done nothing but lavish, devoted praise to Vladimir Putin, ex-KGB spy master, which tells me there is a pot of money that is bigger and deeper than the Constitution of the United States and loyalty to our flag.
And it's sad enough that it's Donald Trump, but for it to be the Republican Party writ large, too, it is deeply disturbing. Malcolm Nance, the book is called The Plot to Betray America. Definitely everybody pick this up because you will get a lot smarter about what we're dealing with. And before we go, know there were so many gripping moments during this week's impeachment hearings, but we want to leave you with this one powerful message that Congressman Denny Heck of the great state of Washington had for Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch.
Your good character, your outstanding reputation have been besmirched in a way that is devoid of common decency. But here's my message to you. There is nothing, Ambassador Yovanovitch, nothing he can say or do, not a thing, that will in any way diminish the nature and quality of the service you have rendered to our great nation. Not a thing.